You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Well, man, this is your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new live Comic Crusaders podcast. That's right, today we got a legend right here. My man is a screenwriter. He is a crime novelist. He is a comic book creator that has worked on some big names. But today we're going to talk about one of the dopest independent projects going to be dropping from a new publisher called Magma Comix. Right? It's called Silicon Bandits. What? And he reunites with another homie. So we're going to get into all that gossip about how this madness was created within this man's universe. Let me introduce the one, the only Jason Starr. How you doing?
How you doing?
Well, thanks for coming
on. That was
on,
good.
Man.
That was a good intro. That was one of my best intros.
Dude, because you're a boss. You do things. You keep us on the tan. You put a smile on our faces. You know, you keep us pumped up, if you will. You know what I mean?
I feel like I should be ready to wrestle now.
Yeah, listen, with a name like Jason Starr, it's something like one of the greatest, probably good guys in wrestling history. You know, was that even a dream at one point?
I thought about writing for them, for the WWE, but I didn't think about wrestling for them.
Oh, man, all right, bet. So let's get to it. For folks that don't know who the legendary man is, let them know a little bit about yourself, where you from, and you know, I love this question, of course. What was the first thing you ever fell in love with in pop culture in general?
I grew up in Brooklyn. Pop culture. How far back are we going? How far back?
Whatever you fell in love with. I mean, it depends on if you want.
Are we going back to like Curious George, or are we going back to Spider-Man? Like, what are we?
All right, so Curious.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's art. It was beautiful drawings. You know, I mean, of course, because that does lead into comics eventually, though.
Right, that's right. No, I always read a lot of comics when I was growing up, for sure. Yeah, like Spider-Man.
How'd you
definitely more Marvel, I think, than DC.
I want to know, how'd you get access as a young man back in Brooklyn in your day to comic books?
They used to sell them at like candy stores, which they don't do anymore.
That's what I know. I didn't know racks. I knew candy stores, and they would fill like an orange box.
Yeah,
they would use an orange box and then fill it out with comic books. Next thing you know, for 25 cents, 50 cents.
Or there'd be racks, or there'd be racks of
them. I never had the racks on the wall, but I never got into a shop with a spinner rack before in New York. Not while I was there.
I think there were some spinner racks, yeah, like in some candy stores, but it was but you could get them everywhere, like bus stations.
Yeah.
They were just around. And of course there was always the Spider-Man strip in the Daily News, the Stanley. Yes. It was always hard to figure out like what was going on, because it was always just like 5 panels or something. But
and if you missed
so that definitely got me. Yeah, the newspaper comics, yeah. And you could always like rub them off onto your skin, and make little like tattoos on the comics.
So I guess every Sunday was your favorite, because then I guess be your colors.
Yes. Yeah. I would definitely get to the comic section as soon as I could.
Yeah, me too. I mean, let's see. That's what shows with old school fans, because even kind of was from the newspaper Sunday. All right, Dad, Mom, here's your stuff that you want. I'm taking this section. Get out of here. That's my drawing right there.
I still mainly just read comics and sports. So same. It hasn't really changed.
Old habits are harder to kill. You know what I mean? So get into that. Were you alone growing up as a comic book geek when you were growing up back in Brooklyn?
I had some friends who read comic books also. Yeah.
So you had a tribe. You weren't alone.
I guess it was a tribe, right?
Okay, listen. You weren't a lonely geek like many in Brooklyn. I know I was one of those, unless I hit the hood, and then the hood knew what we liked, so we were geeks in the hood, but outside of the hood, we were not geeks.
Right.
Brooklyn stuff, folks. You know what I mean? Excellent. So talk to me about, then your early inspirations what was that like, or what got you going and thinking, okay, I'm digging, I want to do something professionally in a writing space?
Yeah, that didn't really happen until college or after college, because
Right.
before then I was just playing baseball in Brooklyn. Yeah, and
Where?
my high school, Midwood. I went to Midwood High School.
I went to Whitney. I went
Midwood.
to Rosedale, the old Eli Whitney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we played you guys.
Yeah, you probably beat our ass. Our team sucked. The Cardinals sucked.
Yeah, so it wasn't really until college that I started, because I didn't really like reading in school. I didn't like having books assigned to me. So when it was really in college or after college when I started reading on my own,
Okay.
started writing crime fiction. So that's like the main thing. Well, my first novel was Cold Caller. And yeah, so that was published. Yeah, there's definitely a period of time when I was just trying to make it as a writer, but eventually Cold Caller got published and I started writing crime novels, and comics didn't come along until like around 2000. What was it? Maybe like 2008, 2009, when someone at Marvel asked me to write an introduction to 100 Bullets. I'm sorry, it was at DC. It was a DC Vertigo. It was 100 Bullets. It was Azzarello's. Yes.
Classic, wonderful. But wait a minute. So you go from crime and then somebody out of DC out of nowhere. Was this a connect? How did you even get involved in the world of crime? Connect?
Yeah, like they just an editor had read my books. And he wanted crime writers to write those introductions. So that's how I got into conversations with them about that.
Okay.
And then, so then I wound up pitching an idea for Vertigo Crime, which started around that time. And that was this graphic novel called The Chill that I wrote. But I did some small projects for DC, and then it just evolved. I wound up doing stuff for Marvel after that, and then some creator-owned comics, and then here I am.
So let me ask you, were there any challenges and rewards that you found in transitioning between writing novels and comics?
I really liked how collaborative it was, because when I'm writing a book, it's all just going on in my head. I'm not interacting with anybody. I think some writers might not want that collaboration, but I really like it. So I was I like working with artists and it's just like a whole. Back in the day, everyone used to be in one room. It used to be like the artist and writer at Marvel and
a bullpen,
Stanley's, at the bullpen. So it's not that much collaboration because, like for example, the artist on Silicon Bandits, Dalibor, is in Croatia. So like, we're definitely not in the same room. But
how did you meet him too? Because again, we're going to talk about it because this is again, you guys are reuniting. But how did you even connect with him?
We connected because we did Casual Fling at AWA.
Okay, cool.
And so at AWA, Axel. I mean, sometimes writers and artists pitch ideas together, but sometimes Axel has an idea of like how to team up people. And I think he felt from working with Dalibor at Marvel, and I worked with him at Marvel, that like we'd have a similar sensibility. So he kind of hooked us up to work together. So then for this idea, we wound up like just being a team doing this one together for Magma. Yeah.
So was it an easy transition though? I mean, you said you enjoy collaborating, but was it easy for you to be able to do it? I mean, what was the biggest point of joy for you in being able to do this outside of your normal space?
I think the joy is, when you're writing comics, you're thinking of images and imagining what the page is going to look like. So it is, and like I said before, like I grew up reading comics, and so it just felt like a fun thing to do. Like it didn't even seem like, I needed to get paid. Like I just wanted to just it was just like really fun. So that's how I would still describe it. It just seems like a lot of fun, to write a comic.
How dare they pay you to do comics? You know what I mean? How dare they?
So I mean, we want to make money, but like it's good to if you could make money doing something that you enjoy. I think everyone feels that way.
Let me ask you about your approach to creating compelling characters and narratives, that differ between your crime novels and your comic projects. I mean, how do you get into that space?
Well, I'm usually, I think in either situation, I'm just trying to think of what's going to sell, what's going to be a commercial. Because like the question I always get is like, where do you get your ideas? But the idea is totally about like what I think is going to sell and what the editors will like, what fans will like. So yeah, so it's not like a matter of coming up with an idea, it's a matter of coming up with the right idea. So for my books, they're often I guess the main thing I write is like psychological thrillers, which are usually about the what's going on in the character's head and motivations, and that's where like the excitement of the story is coming from. And I think in a comic, the idea really has to be more visual, and you're thinking about like the big set pieces and the action scenes, and you're not necessarily just thinking about dialogue and as much as you are like when you're writing and description as much as you are when you're writing a book, because the artist is really the one like filling in the gap of that description in comics. So it's more like planning and like and imagining what that page is going to look like, and knowing that you have 24 pages and the issue has to begin at a certain point and end at 24 pages. That's much different than writing a book where you have like endless space. So like I'm always thinking about and for something like Silicon Bandits, it's going to be a 4-issue comic. And each issue is 24 pages. So there has to be an ending at 24 in each issue. So it takes a lot more planning and thinking about how much space you have and how much space you need to tell your story and to then like fit it in perfectly. So it's a lot more precise, I would say, than writing a book.
So were you comfortable in the transition though? That you feel that you adjusted quickly to kind of changing?
I think I'm just good at adjusting that way.
Of course, we're New Yorkers, yo. That's what we do, baby.
I would say yes, and then I could figure out how to do it. So initially, I think I just read a lot of comics by the writers I really liked, like Brian Azzarello, Ed Brubaker.
Amazing. Amazingly talented, definitely in that crime noir.
Yeah, a lot of Garth Ennis for sure, and many others. But I was just, I think, just from reading comics, paying attention to, how a story is paced, looking at, anybody who's an aspiring comics writer could go online and read sample comic scripts. There are a lot of them on Google, and you just have to like really get into that mindset of like thinking like a comic book writer, because then and then just like teach yourself sort of how to do it. But I will say, like, some of the editors I worked with, like Will Dennis at Vertigo and Axel at after that, like, were really good at like helping me guide my way through it at the beginning.
So have you sensed any difference between working like between a big two like a DC Marvel and now stepping into with this new book Silicon Bandits and a new publisher in Magma Comix?
Well, it's extremely different because this is at Magma, it's creator owned, so it's our IP. And
is this your first creator owned?
Yeah, and we're creating. We create all the characters, and so there's a lot more creative control in that sense than compared to Marvel. The fun, what's what's challenging at Marvel is like the characters. Like I wrote Wolverine Max, and Wolverine obviously has a long history, and there's always going to be fans who know the character better than me. So, so the challenge is knowing what's been done in the past, trying to do something different.
Well, respecting the past before they jump on you.
And so you're trying to fit into something, and you also, I mean, the fun of it is as they say, you get to play with the toys, you get to play with the Marvel characters. There's always some minor characters in certain projects that I worked on that I tried to like bring back, from other books, and sometimes they let you, sometimes they don't let you do that. But so that's much different than at with Silicon Bandits, like what we're doing right now, which is
talk about that, baby. Woo, yeah. That's what I want to know. This is an exciting addition to your portfolio. Create a own. I am dying to know about the concept and everything that's going on, folks. I got 3 covers to share, but I'm sorry. I'm just excited because this, for me, it looks fire. I know I got the press release, but I'm gonna let my man talk. Go ahead.
Well, this one is, it's totally creator owned. So we, we're starting from scratch. And in particular in this project, we're creating a whole world because this book takes place in the future. It's in 2089 when automation is basically just starting to like fully take over. And the main characters like design androids, and they're one of the there's 2 of the only people who actually have jobs, because most people are on basic income and there's really no work anymore. So it's like this whole world we have to build. And in the first issue, it's 24 pages. And I was saying before, like, if I was writing a novel, you'd have an endless space to build out this world. So we have to do it really quickly, carefully, be really precise about it. But it's challenging, but it's also a lot of fun to like create like this world from scratch. And Dalibor's done like an amazing job with the art, especially like in building the world, because you really have to create that world instantly in a comic. Like the first few pages, you have to like be there and like and make it believable.
So we need to understand here. So what inspired that creation, and how does it reflect your interest in technology and crime?
Good question. I guess they've always been independent. I'm really interested in crime fiction. I think anything I write has like a crime element to it. I've written some fantasy novels. I've written.
You weren't a hold-up kid in Brooklyn, were you?
What's that?
You weren't a hold-up kid in Brooklyn, were you?
No.
I mean, you know about crime. Right? You know too much. What's going on, Jason?
Fictional crime. Sure. So I've always been writing crime fiction in some capacity. Even the sci-fi books I've written or fantasy have like a crime element to it. I have always wanted, because of my interest in technology, AI, being a fan of Philip K. Dick and like science fiction, like I've always wanted to write a harder sci-fi book that's like really like sci-fi that's has to do with a futuristic world. So this was the opportunity to do that. And I had the idea that it would be kind of cool to something I've also wanted to do, which I haven't fully done in crime fiction, is write like a heist story that's completely that. So this kind of married both things. Like I was going to do like a heist story, but in a sci-fi world. And that's what Silicon Bandits is. Yeah.
All right, see, this sounds like an Ocean 11's tech, in the future, AI, whole craziness. I'm already loving it. All right, like programmers, AI, robots, robbing. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, you're killing me right now. So,
what's all the good things?
So let me ask you. So did you create this with Dalibor? I mean, how did that conversation even come up to create this and bring it to Magma?
I mean, I had the idea, but it really, it's definitely co-created though, because like it's, for a comic, the idea doesn't really exist until like the artist gets involved, because it's so much about like the art, and the art is really like building the world just as much as my words are. So when Dalibor came on board, I really hadn't written anything yet. I just had like a basic pitch. I knew like what the basic story was going to be, but there was no actual writing done until like we were like a team and moving forward with it.
Yeah, and look at this mind-blowing cover. What up, Jens? How you doing? So look at that gorgeous. Talk about that. I mean, that is already mind-blowing. I know. Yes, it's booming, like pun intended, because what is going on? Yo? This reminds me of that movie from the 80s, The Day After, the only movie that ever really scared me, because when they showed us the people, when the bomb blew up and people saw the skeletons, and in school they were teaching me about nuclear bombs, that really messed with me.
Well, at the point that our comic starts, there have been several world wars, and so this is all happening. Like this is all happening in the aftermath. Like there's only certain parts of Earth that are habitable.
What do you mean?
The United States has been the United States has been divided differently. I don't want to give that away, but
all right. But
it's definitely a post-apocalyptic world, but yet it's still a very functioning world where there's like a different kind of society.
But it's not a utopia.
Not from the point of view of the characters, but from the point of view of the guy in charge, it's the utopia. Yeah.
Talk to me about
the leader. The leader thinks it's a utopia, but that's just about it.
This cover looks gorgeous. I mean, yes, I agree, John. A-bomb should only exist in fiction, but hey, unfortunately, that's not where we live. But talk about this. Look at these characters. Homie in the background. I love this cover. Can you talk to me about the characters that are there? I mean, what can you tell us before this drops in April?
Yeah, that's
in April. All right.
That's the incentive cover. Everyone should go order it by Mike Diodato, who does a lot of work at AWA these days, and that's how I met him, because he did covers for the other books I did with Dalibor, Casual Fling. So these are featured here are the three of the main characters. That's Aurora, Kenji. Those are on the left. Those are the two programmers. John, the guy on the right is this guy Johnny, who's a sort of a mysterious former war buddy of Kenji's, who shows up and causes a lot of problems. And the guy looming in the background is he's the guy who's like basically the leader of this section of the former United States. Yeah. So he's one of the villains in the story.
Amazing. He looks like a villain. I could just come. Ooh, a comic character without big boobs. Like, yeah, natural looking. Thank you. Yeah, I get it. I get what
you want the characters to be real and relatable for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, this looks cool. I love this cover, and I know I got one more cover to show. Check this one out too. Hey, this is issue number 2. Hey, planning ahead, folks. Teasing.
That's Dalibor's. That's the A cover for issue 2. Yep.
So I can't wait, brother, to dig into the stuff. So what do you hope readers take away then from Silicon Bandits, and what themes are you really exploring throughout the series?
Oh, it's definitely about artificial intelligence, which is obviously a big issue now. As we just see AI starting to take over jobs, make people feel threatened about what the future is going to be like. So like everyone else, everyone's concerned about that. Everyone's thinking about it. And this is in the future at the point when androids and humans, sort of. I mean, there's definitely a Blade Runner inspiration here, but androids and humans are coexisting. But it's just at the point when androids start to have sentience and they start to have free will, and that's like the next phase. So it's sort of like at the end of like what everyone's fearing right now.
Let me ask you here then. Change a little bit the tone. The comic book industry has been through significant changes in recent years, right? So, especially with the rise of digital platforms. So, how do you see Silicon Bandits fitting into this whole evolving landscape, if you will?
Yeah, I think it's going to do well digitally. Obviously, the physical comic business is our main focus, but there are a lot of new digital platforms emerging, and I think it's just you have to evolve to technology, and from the point of view of just being a creator, I just want my books to be like as widely available as possible. So if someone wants to read them electronically or the old-fashioned way on paper, and or just in the collected trades, like I'm in favor of all of it. So I think you have to be adaptable and open because the industry does go through ebbs and flows, and you have to figure out how to navigate it. I think you have to figure out how to navigate it, right?
Yeah, you absolutely need to know how to swim. I do not know how to swim in real life, unfortunately, but I can swim in business, I think. All right, so I need to share about your research process into Silicon Bandits, especially regarding the tech aspect of the story. Like, what were you digging into? What did you look into to build your AI people, in the Starverse, if you will?
Well, I want the main focus is like, I want the ideas in the story and all the technology to come from the characters. Okay. I don't want, this is just my own thing. Like, I don't like myself like reading books where it feels like the author or writer like went out and did some research and like we're seeing like the book report. It's for me that takes me out of the story. It takes me out of the story. That's the main thing. Like, so I'm always focused on what the characters want, like what the story is, like what the objective is, what the goal is. So the details about what the future is like really comes from the art, from the story itself. So like when we're dealing with these issues about sentience and androids taking over and androids creating other androids, it's part of the story. So it's not like I'm just like forcing these ideas that I have on you. So I want it to just be fun, entertaining, like a real, just a fun trip. And then like afterwards, like you sit back and think about, oh, that's cool. That's what the future is going to be like. I'm sure like it could be a book group discussing it, but like I'm not thinking about like what those conversations are going to be like.
It definitely made me think of something now, because you know how they say, at least in the Invincible comic universe, that when one of the villains clones themselves, it kind of a dumber version. So if a cyborg makes yet another cyborg, is it making it smarter or stupider?
Is a cyborg? I mean, it's like you mean in like the. Well, in this story, the new androids that we're calling them are the smartest ever. They're the smartest, strongest ever created. So that's like the breakthrough, the technological breakthrough. Yeah. So this is the point where there's been, and we even have like in the opening of the comic, we sort of show like the evolution of androids, sort of similar from like ape to man, but starting with rudimentary robots, leading up to this like super powered ultimate android that could as smart as any the smartest computer, but also super strong. And
yes,
what could go wrong?
What can we're leading that way? So who knows? We'll find out eventually. Apparently, hopefully not in my lifetime or ours. I mean, please, yeah. I only want Jason to write about this stuff, not experience it. Right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, what up, brother? Are there any other upcoming projects, collaborations that you're excited that you want to share with us outside of Silicon Bandits? You know, again, teaming up with your homie again. What do we got? 2024 landscape? What's up?
This is the main thing I'm focused on right now, Silicon Bandits, because we have this issues coming out April 10th, and then 3 more issues right after that. I'm working on a TV project. One of my novels, The Follower, at with a big streaming service. That's basically all I could say.
The Starverse is winning, baby. Love it.
Similarly, the other comic that Dalibor and I wrote, Casual Fling, is also in development with a cable network. So some stuff like that, and a new novel I'm working on. But but mainly 2024 is about Silicon Bandits for me.
Love it, love it, love it. Somebody mentioned here, it says it made me think of AD Police.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't think about that, but okay.
There you go. So what's up with the convention scene? Are we going to be able to hang out with you, see you in person, get some signed books of Silicon Bandits in our hands?
I'll definitely be at New York Comic Con.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, and I know Magma is going to be big at San Diego. I'm not sure about my exact schedule yet, but I will post it. JasonStarr.com, and you have my other links are up there.
That's right here, like this one, JasonStarr.com, right there. You go to that website. You stay tuned to what the Starverse has popping for 2024. As you heard, Silicon, doesn't this sound sick to you guys? You saw those covers. This story, and you know the artist he's hooking up with. I mean, this is the bromance from heaven. You know, broken comic format, and it's about to pop off 2024 through Magma Comix. And you want to stay tuned too on the socials as he teases. You know what I mean? Like he teases like he's a stripper at a strip club. You know, for no nudity. He teases those covers, that beautiful art, those words. You know what I mean? You got to follow him on X on Instagram at Jason Starr Books. I am digging it. So before we go, Jason, I mean, I love your energy. I love what you're doing. As a fellow Brooklynite in the building, New York, I dig it. I understand your imagination. So I'm eating up everything. I'm like, I'm about to just, as soon as we're done, Wonderland Comics, Putnam, Connecticut, like, please put this on my pull list. I'm going to hit them up, and I'll message, like, I need this. Thank you. Something new, new IP.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
For Jason, I mean, as a fan to creators, thank you. Thank you for just putting your imagination out there and sharing, you know what I mean? And what happens, but I am digging it as a fan, because this is what we need, that type of support. Thank you. That's right. Big Sue gives you a big thumbs up too, because he's digging it. He about to jump into. He saw that explosion himself. He's like, he fired up. So lastly, finally, for aspiring writers and comic creators listening to this interview, and others, what advice do you have for them as they navigate their path in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about comics that I've noticed is that no two people I've ever met have had the same path for getting involved, in writing comics. There are some people like me who have written novels first, like crime novels. So I mean, that's obviously a way to go. Write something else and get noticed for it. Something that ties in. Some screenwriters, but if you're just starting out, I think New York Sounds. You hear those sirens?
Yeah, that's New York.
There you go.
That would put me to sleep, for real. Okay, everything's all right. This is normal. Thank you.
That's why I write crime. It's right around. It's all around me.
You see, this is inspiration, folks. Just the smell of the hood. He smells blood. He's about an ambulance chase to see what that's going to be the next comic book story. As soon as we.
I think it's good to have a sample. So web comics, I think if I was just trying to start out now, I would definitely do web comics. I mean, you want to have something you could show editors that you could execute a story. Sometimes it's good just to write, if you could team up with an artist, on DeviantArt or something, even write something that's an episode of Spider-Man or like whatever your favorite superhero is, just to show somebody that you could actually tell a story. All
right, so talk about that.
So like have a sample, have some good samples to show.
All right, so what when you say a good sample as a writer, because artist is artist, that's very visual.
Yeah.
People could check that out. Like, what's a good example of it to look like?
Well, hook up with art. The art is visual, but like team up with an artist and like create like some sort of story together where you're actually showing that you could work with an artist, that you know how to tell the story. Yeah, because I think a mistake would be to just like have one idea that you're just pitching around again and again. Like, so I would have one idea, but I'd have other ideas, because very often, like, I'm pitching an idea and it's sci-fi or something, and maybe a publisher doesn't want to do sci-fi, and like, oh no, I have a crime story. Like, you'd have like a bunch of things.
That's that rookie sweat. Wait a minute. He thinks I got something else for you. Hold on.
Yeah, you need a lot of ideas. Yeah, because you don't know which one. You don't know which one's going to do it.
Your energy, bro. You listen. We're the same. We come from the same hood. I get the hustle. I know what you mean. Like, word, that's not good. Hold up, I got something for you. And like Stewart said, that's true, because most right now they just don't put out good original stories, in his opinion. Oh shit, wow. I mean, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but yeah, things like that do happen, unfortunately. But Jason works on his craft, so guess what? You're not going to be playing with Jason, baby. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? He killing the game, and you got to check out Magma Comix. A wonderful independent label that's going to be producing his book with his homie. So check them out. But as I said before, I have to repeat. I have to, because I gotta sell these homies, man. These are my homies right here, and independent comic book. This is creator owned. So you know what? This goes to them. So you got to show the love to Jason on X and Instagram, Jason Starr Books. Jason Starr with 2 R's, mi gente, all right? Starr right there, books, all right? Going to the website, same thing, jasonstarr.com. That's the double R. And check out Magma Comix. You got to support indie. You got to check out this book. It is dropping in April, folks, all right?
April 10th.
April 10th. So you still have time. You go to your favorite local comic shop. Yes, they still exist, folks. That's where you should be buying. Stop doing this digital stuff. Support those brick and mortar stores. Those are the nerd geek collectives. They are, in fact, welcoming. And listen to the haters out there. I mean, I've never been to a comic book shop that I've ever felt uncomfortable. And even my daughter has gone, and she never ever felt uncomfortable in any shop. Cool. So just don't listen to the hate, folks. Hey, look at that. Stu just gave you a big follow, because that's it. He needs to stay tuned. He buying. He's gonna check out that. That's it. It sounds like a banger.
A banger.
Hey, right. There we go. You know that from Brooklyn. When they tell you it's a banger, it's a banger. Big Stu in the building, showing the love to independent comics, just like Mega Comic Crews do. You know where else you can check out Stu? Jason, you should check out this other. I'm gonna show love to a fellow podcaster. Jason, go to the 6th Element of hip hop. It's a blend of hip hop and comic books. All right.
Okay.
It's the 6th Element of hip hop. They're saying that comic books is part of the hip hop culture. So the way you're doing this, it definitely is a banger. And Stu is one of the co-hosts on that show with my man Reno Noir. So you should check them out too.
Okay.
Cool. 2 live shows on Mondays. All right. So that means it's tonight. At Mondays at I believe it was 6 p.m. They start 7 p.m. Stu, please correct me real quick if I'm saying anything wrong here. But that's what they do. They go live. They talk comic books. They talk culture. And I think that you would be a perfect fit for that program to keep expanding the level of what Magma is doing, and especially this book with Silicon Bandits. Because, dude, this is my shit. Apocalypse, technology. Yep. Stu said yes, please. Please, we love to assist in spreading the word. Okay. So, I'll give you Reno's details. You hang out with me in the green room after we finish, and there we go. They go live at 7 p.m. every Monday, folks. It's 6 Element Hip Hop. Reno Noir, Big Stu Dog, baby, in the building. But this is Comic Crusaders Mega with the amazing Jason Starr. Jason, thank you again so much for your time, your words of advice, the beautiful book you have coming out. I really can't wait to spend my money. And in New York Comic Con, we will meet, because I need a signed copy.
Cool.
And by then, it probably will be in graphic novel format, and you should be in the second half of it, no?
That's right. Definitely.
Hey, did I just trick you into telling me there's a second half? Hey!
I don't know.
Well, let's go. Yes, let's go. Let's get it done. Like you said,
Depends how many you buy.
There we go. I'll talk to New York. I can't wait. I'll get you a bill. Don't you worry. You told me everything, all right? And with that, this is Omega Jason Starr, Silicon Bandits for Magma Comix. Please check them out. And thank everybody for the love today and tuning into Comic Crusaders podcast. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.